Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Nancy Devers. I'm the CLE coordinator for the Bar Association of Lehigh County. I want to thank you for joining us for today's webinar entitled AI, Reputation and Risk, What Every Law Firm Should Know About LLM Search. During the program, if you have a question, please utilize the Q&A button on the toolbar at the bottom of your screen and type in your question. And please, at the end of the program, take a minute and fill out your course evaluation form and email it back to me. And now I am delighted to introduce Deb Kaulitis, founder and chief marketing officer of Focus Point Communications. She is known for helping professionals elevate their digital presence through clear messaging, strategic content, and authentic online engagement. She has also created Digital Network Superstar, a platform for practical digital networking strategies. Joining her today is attorney Charles Laputka, whose practice centers on bankruptcy, creditors' rights, collections, and asset protection planning. A graduate of the University of Pittsburgh and Duquesne University School of Law, he is admitted to practice before the Pennsylvania Supreme Court and all three federal district courts in the state. Charles also serves on the board of directors of the Child Advocacy Center of Lehigh County and enjoys outdoor activities with his family and friends. And with that, I will turn it over to Deb and Charles. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Wonderful. Well, so excited to be here. Thank you so much for everyone and your time as we will be staying focused, lots to learn, lots to discuss. Very excited to see some names I recognize out there on the list. So thanks so much. I do believe that the chat is fully open here. So would love for this to be interactive along the way. Charles, you're acting as kind of like my co-host today, right? You're prompting me.
Yes. We're gonna do a little CLE podcast here.
Nice, nice.
I'm looking forward to going through the slides with you and being your crash test dummy here. If you have any questions about my marketing or my firm or how I'm handling these things or dealing with these things on a regular basis, I'm more than willing to share with everyone.
Awesome. That's outstanding. So I'll start by saying I am old enough to remember that, 2001, my husband and I were just married. We had our small business. It was a landscaping business. And in one day, we could sit down at the kitchen table and we could do the Yellow Book ad. We could do the radio ads. We could do a billboard if we were fancy. And maybe we'd send a few postcards. And our marketing was done for the year. Quickly, that changed. And so now this thing called marketing, communication, and everything with that, it can seem this insurmountable mountain, or people kind of brush it under a rug. And no matter what and how we dig into AI search, and when I say AI search, it's known as generative engine optimization. And that's whether you use ChatGPT, Copilot, Grok, Claude, like whatever your flavor is. I'll probably be defaulting to ChatGPT because that's what I find myself on personally the most, but just insert with whatever you are familiar with or maybe what you're avoiding. But the top of the mind awareness is that no matter if you are using AI search or not, 31% of your potential customers now are. And that's where we all need to be aware of, well, okay, how are things changing? Where does it need to be? And that's where, again, I missed that kitchen table where marketing was a checklist. It's now a strategy. How do you come together? Not just now when maybe business is really great. This is changing 3 to 5 to 10 years in the future. What foundation can you lay now that gives you an advantage ahead? So with that, I'm going to go ahead and do my best to share some slides. And please, I encourage you, unlike others, please take screenshots, share it with people. Let me know how I can be there with things. Because AI and everything, oh gosh, Google, it's that reputation. And don't we love it when we Google something and it gives us a yes or no and it gives us a feeling of where we need to go to. So let's talk about how making this relationship centered and authentic is what can get us to where we need to go. A little bit about me, real quick. At the end of the time together, I want you to be motivated to plan ahead. You and your firm, you're going to need to adjust. And that's what I'm here for. At the end, I would love to be able to come in, be a part of what you have going on. Focus Point Communications, I have a team of 9 between web designer, graphic designer, copywriter, video editor, whatever you need. If you want to do a podcast, I've got the audio editor. But anyways, I put that out there because what I've done with Focus Point is construct a business that is ready to go into other businesses and meet their needs based upon their time and their budget and availability. So be motivated through things. You may know the Calitas name because we've got a couple businesses in the Lehigh Valley. My experience with AI and marketing is not because I went to marketing in college, because, well, in 1996, what I do now wasn't even a college major. So this is based off of many years of Valley Fruits and Veggies is our farm now in Bath. Strawberry season is coming soon, so I hope to feed you all strawberry milkshake. If you're going to a Iron Pigs game at Coca-Cola Park, you might have had a gyro by us. And then Keystone Snow Management services a lot of the large industrial complexes and warehouses we have in the area. So I bring that up because some people go, I recognize you from the farm. And I just have a different attire on today to keep that going. But I love history as it relates to technology because pretty much it's all happened within my realm of lifetime, right? On the left and on the right here, we've got two curves. On the left is search engines, specifically Google. On the right is Facebook, specifically social media. And you can see that both of them have a very similar pattern, right? You start, you get involved, and then whoosh, right up of adoption to then figure out what that adoption level is. This is important because, well, when you think back to 1994, right, there was no such thing as SEO or, experts that were monitoring how you were behaving online. And then with Facebook, when it launched publicly just from the colleges in 2006, there was no such thing as a social media manager or what you needed to do. I was just bugging around on LinkedIn the other day, looking up Crayola as an example, because we're all familiar with it. Well, Crayola now has, I think a team of 7 or 8 that are specifically search engine optimization within all their products. And for social media, they have a team of like 17 globally that is social media. So that's where, advancement in technology has also, ushered in the next jobs and opportunity. Because as I go to the next slide, guess what the curve looks like on AI search? So, you have LLM adoption, which large language models, again, those are the ChatGPT, Copilot, Grok, whatever, different terminologies, is on the right-hand side in the yellow, compared to the first years of Google. Oh my gosh, look how similar they are. This is where when we adopt to a technology that is useful, I remember the payphone. I remember the flip phone. I remember the actual car phone. I remember this. But does this leave our sides now? No. Even if we disdain it, it also is unfortunately very useful and allows us to carry on life. So do I sign?
How many times in high school did your math teacher say, you're not always going to have a calculator in your pocket for the rest of your life?
My favorite was my 5th grade teacher that says, Deb, you're going to struggle in life because you can't spell.
Right.
Guess what? I win. That's the whole thing, right? The convergence from Google, Nancy and I were just talking about it ahead of time, is like going from the library card catalog, a certified 3 sources minimum to verify your fact, to now you're like, what do I find on Google? Now it's what do I find on ChatGPT? So it's this is the foundation and some stats on the right-hand side of just growth. It's here. Now, globally, you need connectivity. You need a lot more, energy and power. So as a first world nation, we are going to be on top of this and leading. But I would assume, being lawyers in Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, the majority of your clients are coming from this local area and they have access to this technology. So how is it impacting how they're choosing the opportunity to talk to you as the lawyer that they need to solve a problem? So it's all there. So here's the thing. So Charles, as you've seen people coming in, the traditional is that search, click, and site visit. And they're saying upwards of 15 to 64% drop in organic traffic. If you're looking at your Google analytics, that your Google Analytics may be going down, but are you experiencing any less outreach to you and as a lawyer in need?
Well, so what's really transpired as far as marketing my firm goes in the Lehigh Valley over the last 5 years is organic search is, I don't want to say it's non-existent, but I can tell you that, we basically get leads at a rate of about 150 a week. So 150 new people are contacting me a week to find out about our services and whether or not we can help them. And that used to be at least 50% organic traffic to things like my website or blog articles that I wrote. And now most of that is paid advertising, because one of the things that, as you're aware, Google has done is they keep pushing the organic results further and further down the page in favor of things that generate revenue for Google and the other companies that are doing online marketing. And that's the switch that I've seen.
Yeah. And what's incredible with that is especially with Google, right? They have their Google Gemini, and they just released last week that they're now allowing Google Gemini, their AI search, to now influence their Google listings. So they are one with, the keys to the kingdom, right? To be able to merge these two things in a way that we're not even aware that it's happening. Now, we do have benefits as a local business. If people are searching local, they're putting, Allentown into their search or lawyer near me or something like that. That does trigger Google's mapping infrastructure. But it's, where are people going and how are they searching is definitely something that the jury's not out, to use a legal term. This is a long trial. We don't know when it's ending. We're not sure who the judge is, but at least we're in the courthouse and we're figuring out what's happening. So it's understanding that, if you have someone right now that you're paying for search engine optimization, you are going to need to unfortunately become more of an expert to know what they are or are not selling you. I have a client I've onboarded. They happen to be a publicly traded company. They have 130,000 SKUs of what they manufacture. And they're like, Deb, our SEO has been tanking for the last year, but our sales have maintained. What is this? And so that's where we've dug into the LLM infrastructure. Well, how are people asking about your product on ChatGPT? How are people finding you? Where do we need to accentuate this? Because it's a game of competitive nature. Who are going to be the first and the forerunners in the valley, in the legal firms that go, wait, we're going to attach ourselves to how we're going to be listed at the top and consistently in, LLM searches versus those that are like, I haven't touched my website in years. It's fine where it's at. And like any business, again, I'm in quite a few. So you can go to many different farmers' websites. You can go to many different restaurant websites. You can go and you're either, dear God, this is too much information. I have no idea where to go. And let me tell you, if you are overwhelmed or underwhelmed, it's not being picked up by AI and it's not being picked up by Google. And that's where it's called a word called schema. Schema is the way that the structure of the back end of your website's happening to help support the messaging. But really one of this slide, it is a digital mind shift of what's going on because when, internet came out, you could design something called a brochure website. Essentially, if you printed out all the pages, it's the same as giving someone a brochure, right? But now it's okay. How easy is it to get a hold of someone? Can you schedule a consultation? Can you do the research about the lawyers there? Do they, direct you to LinkedIn profiles that are up to date? Can I see, reviews and people's feelings? So it's more of an ecosystem that needs to be put together so that the final product is that people and SEO and now the AI can find and interpret to get your message out there. All right, so here's the difference. What I did, and I'll show you in real time in a moment, is I said, who are the top law firms in Lehigh County? I went to Google and then I went to ChatGPT. And, here's how it, worked out with things. So on page one, and page one is like this long. It's not a page, it's a page, right? There's approximately, and you guys correct me, 250 law firms, in Lehigh County, which could be a one-person show or it could be a bigger show. 16 firms make it to page one on Google. And then over to ChatGPT, 10 firms are suggested. This is how cutthroat it is for a very general topic. I understand that I'm usually looking for injury attorney, near me, or, criminal this or bankruptcy this. There's usually that, but I wanted to start at the 30,000-foot view to showcase, okay, this is what the arena looks like. And let me escape here for a moment. And Charles, you let me know if things do not come up efficiently here. Do you see my Google?
Yep, everything looks
excellent.
good.
So, here's that AI overview. I can click more here. It then, lists out exactly who. And what's interesting is this has already changed from yesterday. So congratulations on whoever was, knocked off and who was put on. So the first thing is Google's already pushing their AI results and what's happening. And over here, you've got some different paid ads with things. But here's what AI does. When selecting prioritizing attorneys with specific expertise, check their experience levels. It's already telling you what you should do next. So you can't rely upon your client being able to know what to do next at all, because now they're being told. And they're telling them to go to Justia. I had no idea what Justia is. That even how you pronounce it, Charles? Am I even doing it
Yeah.
correctly? Okay. Until I was looking to do this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the be all end all. For us with Valley Fruits and Veggies, it's Discover Lehigh Valley. If we were not listed on Discover Lehigh Valley, we would not be up in the search results. So these are called directory listings. Directory listings are being given more value now because AI and Google are saying, ooh, it's an authority. Even though if you're paying out the wazoo, to be on it, it's still a verified authority that you are there. So then, of course, we have sponsored results. Yay, more money. And then we go down to the beginning and look, they're going with the membership directories first. Yelp is not my favorite to deal with, but guess what? I now have to make sure all my businesses are consistent. And what the LLMs are asking for is that I have the same description in the header, a hero area of my website. The same description is on Yelp. The same description is then on Discover Lehigh Valley. The same is on Google Maps, on Apple Business, on this, and the list goes on because they want to see, okay, what is the core value of your business and is it repeated over time? It was killing our farm last year until we figured it out and reconfigured that I had strawberries mentioned one place, pumpkins mentioned another, corn and produce, and then a festival in another place. The same thing might be happening to your law firm. If you are a multifaceted firm that handles many different specialties and you have specialties splattered all over the place, instead of what I call a hero statement that can encompass them all as that lead into your business, that can definitely be disruptive to how you're being recognized.
Well, and what I'm hearing you say here, Deb, is that congruency among all of these listings is very important. So I know we're going to talk about this a little bit in the future, but congruency is very important. And that comes down to things like links, backlinks. You don't want to have obviously dead links.
Yep.
So, checking these things on your website and making sure that it is congruent across all of your marketing and advertising and sort of creating a brand, right? It's, congruency in marketing is branding, and that's what's important. That's what the LLMs are picking up.
Correct. And it's interesting, right? Because from the marketing perspective, I get really excited. That means those who are paying attention, just like on the worksheet that I gave you, when was the last time you looked at your website? Those that are consistently there and paying attention are going to win further at this moment of time. Now, I say at this moment of time because just like social media, Mark Zuckerberg sneezes and the entire algorithm changes.
This is the infinite game.
It is because as then ads are going to be moving forward with some of these platforms, the platforms are saying, hey, look, you can pay, Laputka Law Office might invest, $1,000 in ChatGPT ads. But if your content isn't already optimized to be picked up by the LLMs, you're not going to get the results that you would want. It's not just being able to splash a link out there. Rather, you still have to showcase that of value and the consistency of your messaging. So it's interesting how it's all coming together.